Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Russell Klimas, and today we're going to be talking about wireless triggers and pros, cons, all that sort of jazz, and which one's best for you. Okay, here we go. We have a few wireless triggers today, and I'm going to start with my favorite and then go down the list of other possible ones that you can use. The first trigger we're going to talk about is this bad boy right here. This is the PowerSync 16 to 80. It's great. And why I like this bad boy is, one, it has over 700 feet of range, so 720, which I think is pretty dang rad, because I know I do a lot of stuff that's like I'm really far away from what I'm shooting and from where my model is, because I'll be doing light painting, all this sort of stuff. So I'll be behind the model. My tripod might be really far away. I don't really know how far, but it's far enough. And this is great for that, because I can know that I'm always going to have, it's always going to be able to catch it. The downside is sometimes I click it, so to make this work, I click this once, and then it starts the exposure, and I click it again, and it ends the exposure. So if I was doing like astrophotography or something like that, it might be really useful for that. But because I'm doing light painting, and I am behind my model, I can't really tell when it's taking the picture. I'm just assuming that I clicked it and that it's gonna do it. So sometimes I don't remember if I clicked it or not, because not all of my light paintings are super fast. So that can be a downside if you're not paying attention to if you're taking the picture or not, and you might like be doing sparklers or fire or something, and you might have wasted that because you were off, which is fine, and it happens. The other benefit to this is, say you're within a group of people and we all have these PowerSyncs and we all want to get the shot, we're not adding any extra filters or anything like that, is that you can hook up to them, and as soon as they take a picture and as soon as they end their exposure, you also get it as too, so you don't have to do this. So if you're light painting per se and you don't want anything special, then you can just hook up yours with theirs and then you're good to go. Then you don't have to worry about triggering it and messing it up. So that's a big benefit of that. I would say those are the biggest benefits. It can also do up to 100, if you're not using it for light painting, it can do 1/250 speed. That's its max speed. So when it comes to flashes and stuff. But, so there's the thought. Anywho, PowerSync 16 to 80. Love it. Also, I forgot to say, they are expansive. Okay? They're expansive little things. They're very expansive. And they run around, I want to say 100 a piece. Yeah. So, and that's just for one. So you're going to want to get two, so that's $200 to get these bad boys. They run off of 2 AA batteries, and yeah, so they're expensive, but they're great. Another thing about these 16 to 80s is that you're going to have to, this is your output cable, is you have to click in your cable into here and plug it into your camera. And the cables sometimes are good to find. It's easy to find them, sometimes not. I know it wasn't for me, so I had to get an adapter to make it work. But so I know that these have a hot shoe mount, but they might not work with your camera and connect to it and talk to it, so that is something that you're gonna have to use for a workaround. These are really expensive, but the Yangi ones are a great alternative if you don't want to use those. So let's talk about those right now. Hello. Aha. These little bad boys, they are pretty cool. They have 45-hour standby time, and their max speed sync is 1/350, so it's a little faster than the PowerSyncs. Now, the benefit and downside to these is that they're like a dead man switch. So if I hold it down, it takes the exposure. As soon as I let go, it ends the exposure. So that's great if you're doing something really fast, like tube light painting or firelight painting, because you know without a doubt that you're gonna get it, because it's just a no-brainer. The downside to this is that if you're trying to do stuff super far away, is that it can only do up to 100 feet, not 700 like the PowerSync, so you have to be aware that you might have a trigger fail when it comes to that. But honestly, these are super solid, and they run like for 20 bucks, so that's a super good deal for just freaking triggers in general, and they work with any camera. Again, you might have to use a cable to connect it to your camera in order to make it work, but super freaking great. I definitely recommend these, especially if you have some money but are still on a budget. I would definitely recommend these bad boys. Yes. Lastly, is you have the app for your phone. So I use Sony, I use the Imaging Edge mobile app if I want to do stuff with my phone because my camera's in a weird place. Like sometimes I hang my camera on the ceiling and I can't really see the picture I took if it's on the ceiling. So I use my phone to do that, so it'll be on the ceiling and then I can view exactly the picture that I took, which is super great. The system is pretty easy, at least for Sony. I don't know about Canon and Nikon, but I do know they also have apps. For Sony, it's going to be pretty simple. I look at the back of the camera, I say, hey, I want to connect to my phone, and it'll either show me a QR code or I can do it like through Wi-Fi. And I do that, and then once that's done, then it will let me see exactly what I'm viewing on my camera, and I can change my ISO, f-stop, all that sort of stuff, as long as the lens is not a manual lens. And then as soon as I'm done with that, then I'm good to go. And then all you have to do is swipe over to start your exposure if you're doing a long exposure, and then swipe back to end it. So it makes it really easy. You can view all the pictures in camera. So if you have a phone and you don't want to buy a trigger or too cheap to buy a trigger, that's fine. I get it. Like, gotta use what you got. And so I would recommend that for sure. It's a free thing that you can download, so free is always good. Especially if you're just trying, like, if you just want to try light painting, like, don't go out and buy triggers and stuff. Like, this works fine as long as you aren't doing stuff like super fast. If you wanted to do longer stuff, shouldn't be a problem. You just have to make sure that it takes the phone a second and the camera a second to connect and take the picture. The downside is that the range is not very good. It's probably, first off, if you're inactive, then it's gonna disconnect, but it's probably not better than 20 feet from my experience. So just be aware that you don't have as much range. So that's the biggest downside, but it's free, so who knows? Before we end this video, I just want to say that some of you might recommend or say that, hey, I have this remote, would that work? Yes, remotes work, but from my own experience, I don't like them as much because a lot of time they're infrared, and like my Sony's infrared, and if the battery's not full, then it has issues like connecting and stuff like that, and the range isn't very good. So like that just causes more of a headache that's needed. That's what I started with, and it was definitely a headache. So I don't know if I would recommend that, but you can do it if you have it. Again, I would probably just use the phone over a remote. It just makes it so much easier. And that's it. That's it for this video. So if you liked it, do the like stuff, subscribe, that would be swell. But I'm not going to tell you how to live your life because it's not my place to do so. And hit the notification bell for updates and stuff. Notifications, that's what it's for. And I hope to see your beautiful faces in the next video.